this industry is not easy. I'd quit music completely.
Why is that?
We're so focused on scandal or struggle.
How do you define yourself now as an artist?
When you see me out there in the world, and when I say I'm from Zimbabwe, I will not embarrass you.
Ooh! How do you take care of yourself?
I'm just a kid. Someone should take care of me too, you know?
Hello and welcome to another episode of With Nyasha Michelle. And if you've been watching and listening, you know that I am in the motherland for this whole season. I'm in Zimbabwe and it has been an amazing experience. We've had so many cool conversations, but I'm not done because you know me. I'm always trying to bring you guys the best of the best in many different industries. And today we're going into music, and also we're not just doing music. We're doing one of the fine, talented girls of music. Before I introduce her and you guys hear a little bit more about her, I want to firstly thank you for making it this far. Week after week, you're here watching me here on With Nyasha Michelle. And sometimes when you're like, I don't have enough time to be watching YouTube, you're also going to wherever you get your podcast and you are tuning in. So thank you to all of y'all. If you haven't subscribed, please make sure you subscribe. If you're not following, please make sure you follow. You can find us on social media at With Nyasha Michelle, and you can find me at Nyasha Michelle _. Now let's get into it because I'm really excited to have this conversation. Behind the scenes, I was just telling her that, listen, on this podcast, in the previous season, you probably have watched it now. If you haven't, go back to that. We've only spoken to one female Zimbabwean artist, and that is Gemma Griffiths. So today, it is my pleasure, my honor to introduce the R&B, Afro-pop. You know, she's just a contemporary artist with a sweet voice, Melyssa. Hey.
Hey, girl.
How are you?
Sweet voice.
Yes, girl.
Okay, thank you.
There is an artist that I want to ask you if people have ever asked you if you sound like her, but I'm going to ask that later.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to ask that later. By the way, she got a sweet voice too, so it ain't somebody bad. But thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you so much for having me as well.
Lovely, lovely. I have a question that I ask everybody when they join, right? When they join me and they come next to me on set. And that question is, what is one defining moment that set you on the path that you're on today?
Oh, okay. There was a time, I think maybe about 7 years ago, I'd quit music completely. And I bumped into John Cole. He's a choreographer, dancer. I bumped into him in town and he's like, yo, when are we getting music? What's going on? And etc. And I just said to him, oh, no, I don't do that anymore.
Wow.
The look on his face, he was like, what do you mean? I said, no, I actually don't sing anymore. Like, I don't do music. I don't do any of that stuff. He was so distraught.
Wow.
And I remember I was actually in a rush, but he actually had me wait there for like about a good 10 minutes, telling me, no, you cannot just say you don't do it. You know, the speech was kind of long. You would be so convinced someone had paid him to do this. His speech was so long. And I think why that was so important for me, or rather why I would say it's one of the defining moments, is because that conversation rang in my head for like the next 3 days. And I kept asking myself, and I think one of the things that had happened within like the same week, someone else had just said something to me and said, God would not give you a gift for you to just keep it to yourself.
Absolutely.
So I think, So I think that conversation paired up with that statement made me think so much about getting back into music.
Yeah.
So I think, I would say that's one of the most, defining moments because it was like a wake up call to say, girl, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can imagine you got back into music.
Yes. That was around the time I made the decision to say, no, let's give it a try. Let's go back into it.
So then let's go back then. Let's go back to before this period, up until when you ended up choosing to actually give up music. When did music first start being such a passion for you and an igniting fire that you began to pursue it?
I know this is so cliche, like a lot
But
of
if
people.
it's your story, it's your story.
I know. So I think I grew up in a very kind of artsy family, and music was such a thing in our house. My dad sings. Like, he never did it professionally, but he would sing at church. He would sing with his brothers. They would do like pop-up concerts, like in such a cool way.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, with his family. Like, they had like a choir kind of vibe.
Oh.
So I think I liked music from a very young age, but I think I used to dance more than sing when I was younger. So I would dance and what. When my dad is singing, I would be the little dancer and doing all of these things. Around the time, maybe I was 12, that's when I started to like to actually sing. I knew I loved music, but I didn't know I could sing.
Yeah.
So I then started to sing and people would be like, oh, your voice is nice. I'm like, really? Oh, okay. So, you know, the more I did it, the more confidence, the more, you know, people would reach out. And yeah, I just kept going. So I would say I actually did find my love for music at quite a tender, you know, age. Yeah, I was still quite young when I started singing. But at that time, obviously, I was still in school. So I wasn't doing music professionally. I would sing at school, do competitions, church, and, you know, those kind of things.
What is one memorable performance that you did as a kid? And why does it stand out so much?
Okay, so I did I think I was 15 and I entered a competition that was Star Bride. And then I got to the semifinals, and that time, I remember the semifinals night was the first time I was going to be performing with like my whole family, like
your
present.
whole family. Oh, present and watching
present,
you.
yes, present in the moment, watching me, and it was such a big show. I mean, yes, my family had heard me sing, but they'd never heard me sing with a whole band and lights and cameras and all of that. And I was 15, eh?
Yeah.
So now my whole family was there, and my cousins and everybody's there. I was so nervous, but I think what made it so memorable was I remember being up there, and before I started singing, my mom, shout out to mom.
Yeah.
My mom is like my biggest supporter, biggest cheerleader. I looked at the crowd and I saw my mom, and my mom is just weird. You know those moms that will low-key embarrass you.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I was like, okay, mom, calm down. Calm down, mom. But it was so beautiful just seeing my whole family there. And it was such a beautiful performance. So yeah, I think that's one of.
Wow, that's really nice. So do you have any siblings?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So I'm the first in a family of 3. So I have a younger sister and a younger brother.
So what is it like being eldest daughter? Because I'm an eldest daughter, and I love her. You guys see that face? Let's just Wow. Did you hear the words as well? So I really want. I interviewed somebody else as well in the previous what is it called season. Her name is Remy Berg. So she's a really well-known, cool girl, by the way, really well-known DJ in the UK. And we were talking about, you know, the first daughters. I don't want to call it a syndrome, but, you know, first daughters, let's say blessings, né? Like the challenges that we face, and we are really put on a different type of pedestal. I've seen first daughters who are, of course, absolutely spoiled and they do their thing, but there's still something that unites all of us. So for you as the first daughter, the oldest sister, well, what's your experience been like, and what's it like now?
Dude, I wish the first things that would come to my mind are like positive, you know? But I guess, like you're saying, at the end of the day, we'll call them blessings, because I think God will put you in a certain position for a purpose. So I guess it's challenging being a first daughter, because it's like there's so much expectations. Yeah. You have to lead. And at some, you know, so obviously when I was younger, you're always taking care of your siblings.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep, yeah.
When you're younger, you're taking care of your siblings. Something goes wrong. Your mom is like,
Why did you? Exactly.
What happened?
Exactly.
Where were you?
Where were
know?
you? Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm just a kid. I'm a kid. Hello. Someone should take care of me too, And there were so many sacrifices as well as a child, because you know that, okay, if there's 2 sweets, you're not going to get those. No. Because you're the oldest.
The baby's got to get.
So, and I think that carries over into your personality as a person as well, in a way. I think there will be some challenges with being a first daughter as you get older, because there's certain things that you will carry from your upbringing, from your childhood. Like maybe some people will say first daughters are too independent, too this, too that, and I guess for some people it's a bad thing, but for me, I don't think it is, because I think I've learned to be very level-headed, to be focused, to do what needs to be done when it needs to be done, and to kind of lead. I just do things and I just move with it.
Yeah.
So I think that the worst thing I think about being a first daughter is you don't get a break. So you think when you were younger, you're taking care of your siblings. When they're older, it's over. No. You're still, and your mom will still call you. Yeah. And now maybe you're now even a parent to your own parents. Yeah. Now they'll call you complaining about your siblings. Like, why did Ningi do this? Like, I don't know. Yeah. An adult. Yeah. Yeah. So, it's blessings though. It's blessings still.
It is. But definitely, I like the honesty of that, because it's weird, because I faced the same thing. And the other first daughters that I am friends with have told me a very similar thing. And I'm like, I really should start like a first daughters club out here.
You should. We need support.
We do need support. And really weirdly enough, quite a number of my friends are also first daughters. And I'm like, is there a thing where we maybe have attracted each other?
Yeah, you have a lot in common, so you probably, are drawn to each other.
The support as well. The support, definitely. Do you, and I've seen this, definitely. And do you think that it also impacts your life in like dating and stuff? Because I've seen when I'm dating, I'm a strong, independent woman. However, at the same time, when it's the right person, when it's the right man, I'm like, listen, take over everything, because you want to be taken care of because everywhere else, you're also taking care of others. Yeah. Has it like seeped into that space for you? Or no?
Girl, you are me.
Yeah.
And I am you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. I think it does. And I think it's comforting for me to know that, someone else or a lot of other women would go through the same thing. Because at some point you start to think, am I too much? But yeah, I think as a first daughter, you will carry so much responsibility, so much sacrifice, so much of the, leading. You just get to a point where you want a balance. You want someone who will bring the softness. Yeah. Someone who you can just trust and say, with this person, I don't have to lead. I don't have to take control.
Absolutely.
I don't have to sacrifice. I can just be a girl.
Yeah. 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 I'm just a girl.
I'm just a girl at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that. I like that. If you're a first daughter and you're watching or listening to this, put it in the comments. What has been your experience? And let me tell you, if nobody else has told you before, you definitely deserve somebody to take care of you. But that's not to say that our families don't take care of us, because I know they do. But those people got, even now, like I found a way to be like, okay, guys, no, I'm doing me right now. But that characteristic, independent, you get your stuff done. You know how to take care of things. How is that then seeped into your music and the Melyssa that we see before us now?
It has really played a huge, huge role in shaping the artist and the artistry itself, because there are so many times you need Rome wasn't built in a day, obviously. Yep. And you don't necessarily build an empire by yourself.
Yeah.
But I believe, and in my experience, no one will believe in your dream more than you. So because of that, no matter how many people you have in your team, you're possibly going to have to do everyone's job in a way.
That's what I'm saying.
You will probably have to, do a little bit of the marketing, do this, do that. Like, obviously, when I started, I didn't have a team. I used to do everything by myself. And thank God the brand grew. We're not yet where we want to be, but, now there's a team. I have people that do this and that for me.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, because I am that first daughter, there will always be that thing of wanting to know, was this done? Yes, I know there's a person who handles it, but I'll still be like there and I'll do my own thing on the side. Sometimes it causes, conflict because when you give someone a task, they want to feel trusted as well.
That they would do
now, when I give you a task and then I still do the task, you're going to look at me like, but why?
Yeah.
Am I not doing enough? But I mean, it's you have to find a balance. Between because also the hyper independence can then be a little bit much because you don't have time for yourself, etc. But I think it does help me in a way because it means that everything is always good. I make sure.
We'll be right back.
Do you want to know what it's like to live in a Velda Estates gated community? Well, imagine this. You drive home from work and the security guard greets you with a smile. He knows you. It's after dark, but the tarred streets are brightly lit by solar streetlights and your neighbors are out enjoying an evening walk. As you pull up to your home, you notice the bins have been collected. That's taken care of every week by the Velda Estates Homeowners Association. This is your home that you built for yourself. A stand for just $25,000 and a house for just $50,000. Inside, the kids have showered and are doing their homework. Water is never a problem here, but you realize that you forgot bread for their lunch. But then you smile because the shops are just outside the community fence because Velda Estates made sure that all conveniences are close by. This is the lifestyle at Velda Estates, the season sponsors of With Nyasha Michelle. You can reach them on Facebook or via the numbers on your screen.
Now, back to the show.
Yeah, and it's to the standard that you want,
that I want
your brand to be represented, etc.
Yes.
So that's a really good thing that I think people, when you realize the way that your personality is, you have to, and you decide you're going to be a boss, right? You have to figure out where it works. One of the things that I've decided to remember, and I say to myself and say to people, you know what? I hired this person because they can do it. I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to be able to do your job. I try sometimes, and then it just becomes so much. It becomes too much, and I realize, hey, I can't do everything. So like, I want us to go back before we get into, how your career has been recently and the fact that you're now performing at stages, both here and abroad. Let's go back to that defining moment that you told us about, right? Because you told us about how music was really ingrained in you. Mom is like, don't want to go here. And you continue to do music. Why did you stop? And then when, after you got to that defining moment, that encounter, what was the first thing that you did when you decided to go back into music?
A lot was happening. I think firstly, for anyone that has been around musicians or that is an artist, they will tell you this industry is not easy. I know people say, nothing is easy and etc. But trust me, this industry. So I think for me, it was a buildup of frustration. I was so frustrated. You knock on doors, you do everything that people tell you to do. And I think one of my biggest mistakes when I was starting out was that I listened to everything and everyone. And I know people say take people's advice and what, but I think it's very important to understand and to know yourself and what you want to do. Because when you end up listening to everything and everyone, you become confused.
Yeah.
I was doing everything. I would need someone and then they'll tell me, you know what? Music, manje, hairire Zimbabwe. Sing like this, do this, and then tomorrow I'm trying to do that.
So you do something different.
Now, because I tried too many different things and nothing was working, it frustrated me. And I was like, you know what? also the financial aspect of things. Music is expensive.
Yeah.
You're spending so much and nothing is coming back to you. So in that time, you understand that, yes, it's an investment, but after a long period of time, you just start feeling like this is not working. So I let it go.
Yeah.
And after I decided to go back into music, well, the first thing, to be honest, was to just get back into studio and try to redefine myself and what I actually like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to know what that is. What do you like and how do you define yourself now as an artist?
So first of all, I don't like to box myself.
Yeah.
Or to feel like I'm forced to sing a certain type of music. You know, I'm more inclined to R&B. Yes, I love R&B music. That's really my comfort.
Yeah.
But I am an Afro. Okay, so I'm an Afro R&B artist, but I'm pop.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I can sing whatever because I don't want to be boxed. I'm quite versatile.
Yeah.
Yes, I have things that I like. I have things that you will know me more for. But I just really like to go with the flow.
Yeah.
And I think that's where creativity thrives, because when you try so hard to be something you're not, it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Or when you try to follow whatever someone else is trying to, you can do it for some time, but you'll burn out.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
So with everything that you've said, I'm sorry, I still have to ask you this, but I know it's not necessarily going to be easy because you clearly are a versatile artist. Therefore, that means you have versatile influences or people that you love to listen to. So who is your ultimate collab with?
Internationally or?
Let's say anywhere. Let me just literally, the whole sea. I'm throwing the net into the whole sea. Who would you ultimately love to collaborate with?
Okay. I have a couple.
Okay.
But I would love to collaborate with Shekinah.
Oh, from South Africa.
She's great.
Voice, yeah.
That's closer to home. And if we're really throwing the net far, maybe Caesar, Chris Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rihanna doesn't sing anymore, but
girl, she's busy. She is busy making her billions and raising her family.
Yeah, she got no time for us anymore.
But I do reckon, I have a theory, she will come back.
You think so?
I think Rihanna will.
I am so tired of waiting for this girl.
I know.
Do you know, it's been so long, and every time it's like she tries to give us hints, or like she's coming back, and I'm like, yeah, I'm waiting, and then 2-3 years, I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, she's like, listen, I'm busy, like, you know, popping on my babies, raising my kids, you know. So pick one of those stars, right? Chris Brown, Shekinah, SZA, or Riri, right? What would the sound of that song be?
It would be Afro R&B, definitely, because I think the blend of R&B and Afro pop is just so smooth.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And you see, when you listen to even people like, okay, let me take for instance Chris Brown. Chris Brown is very R&B, but he's been doing a lot of Afro. You hear how beautiful that sounds? Yeah. That's my vibe.
Okay.
That's my vibe.
So then where do you want to see the industry go? And before you even answer that ultimate question, one of the reasons why I like to talk to people and I decided to do this podcast is I am not everywhere, right? And I want to get insights from people like yourselves who are in different industries, but also you've achieved a level of success. I don't need you to tell me, but I can imagine there's been some challenges there. And you've kind of mentioned a few of them. We will focus on the positives in a minute. But what are the issues that you've seen within the Zimbabwean music industry that you really would love to see change or improve?
There's not much respect to the craft in terms of quality. The industry in Zim is driven by either controversy or trends, things like that. And it's not about quality. So you will find that when we are listing top 20, top 10 happening musicians, some of the times you find that it's not really about quality. It's literally about who can make the most noise or the most scandals, etc. And that kind of, that kind of derails progress in terms of sound and quality. Because if we acclaim, if we say, this is our top candidate, this is our biggest artist in Zim, right? And for instance, maybe that person is only popular because of a scandal. And that person is to represent us elsewhere. What happens? The whole world is looking at us like,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah. So you guys, this is, because whatever it is that we pay attention to as a whole country will kind of reflect on the people we are elsewhere. So whoever or, however we do things will still come back to us, because whoever we put on a pedestal will represent us. So I think we are also not mindful as a people.
Yeah.
We're not mindful of those kind of things. We just kind of go with whatever is popping, whatever is happening in the streets. And I would really think that needs to kind of shift.
And how have you felt when you've gone and represented Zimbabwe on international stages like in South Africa? Especially in line of what you've been saying, how do you feel about the responsibility?
It's a huge responsibility, because whenever you step outside of your country, you're now an ambassador. Yeah. And that's a lot of pressure.
It is.
Because whatever you do in another space, in another country, will come. People will just be like, Zimbabweans are like this.
Yes.
Zimbabweans are like this. Now, so it's a huge responsibility. But I would, not to be cocky or anything, I'm actually, the few times I've had the opportunity, I'm really grateful. And I think it made me feel really good to be able to represent my country, because everything was so positive. The responses were very positive, like, wow, oh, we didn't know about you. We didn't know that there's these kind of people in Zim. And I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, why would you say that?
I understand.
People say the most outrageous things. But anyway, for me, it's still a win, because you are bringing some positivity to your country.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And something that you said that's really key is the fact that, and I agree with this, it is what it is, right? I've seen this, especially as a person who lives in that diaspora, but is really trying to ensure that I'm even more like connected with home, whether I'm here or online, right? Zimbabweans thrive on scandal.
Yeah.
Can you tell me, firstly, like, why is that? Like, why do Zims thrive on scandal? Because yes, I agree with you. There's some people who are famous. If you ask me, why is Ningina Ndingi famous? I couldn't tell you why. I couldn't tell you what their talent is. So why do you think that's a thing for Zims?
To be honest, it baffles me. I do not know why. It's like, what? Are we so miserable? Are we so bored? Like, we just want scandal. It's like, there's two things. We're so focused on scandal or struggle. So I think struggle is a big thing.
We'll be right back.
If you're part of the Zimbabwean community or send money anywhere in Africa, this one's for you. Today's episode is sponsored by TapTapSend, a fast, secure, and convenient way to send money to family and friends back home. No stress, no hidden fees, just your money getting where it needs to go. And here's the best part. If you're a new user, you get £20 free on your first transfer using my code MUNYASHA. If you've been meaning to find a better way to send money, now's the perfect time. Download TapTapSend, don't forget to use my code MUNYASHA, and claim your free £20 bonus. The link is in the show notes. Now back to the show.
Now, back to the show.
Why I say Zims glorify struggle is because there's this thing where, especially in the art space or media space, Zims are more, will probably support you if you are selling a struggle story.
Got it. Okay.
Do you get what I mean? Like that, I think that's where the whole thing comes from. It's like, if you're selling a struggle story, or if you appeal to the people, or if you appear to be struggling, they're gonna be like, yeah, let's go behind this person, and well, which is a great thing. I get the idea, but I think too much of anything becomes a little much, because if you don't position yourself in a struggling manner, they're kind of like, whatever. It's almost like Zimbabweans want everyone to be struggling.
I see.
Why are you not struggling? Why are you not struggling? And it's not because you're not like you, Michelle. You might not tell us what you are struggling with in your life, right? It might just not be what you want us to know.
Yeah.
But who said you don't have struggles of your own? You
Yeah.
probably have.
Yeah.
But Zimbabweans want you to tell them that I saw today, I didn't even have $1 for combi, but I walked to the studio, and then when I wrote this song, I was really hopeful. That song will be a hit. I'm telling you. That's the story Zimbabweans want.
Okay, then let me go to the other side, right? And try to speak for those of you who are in the comments right now or who are watching. Not that everyone thinks the same thing, but I imagine there's some people who definitely have opinions of what we both have just said.
Yeah.
What of those who say, I actually resonate with the struggle story because I can relate to it. Therefore, when I see somebody and they're going through something, it just makes me feel like, hey, yeah, let me go behind this person. What would you then say about that? Could that be one of the reasons why?
Definitely. I think it is one of the reasons why. When I say what I just said, it's not an absolute statement to say everyone is like that. No. But I was just speaking of the majority. So yes, of course, there are a lot of Zimbabweans that can relate to struggle.
Yeah.
There are a lot of Zimbabweans that can relate to struggle because it's not a secret. We've had a lot of tough times as a people.
Yeah.
So of course, a lot of us relate to struggle. But I think we also have to get out of that struggle mindset at some point. You know what I mean? You can't, say you are progressing, you are building, you are becoming better as a people. You're trying to be positive, but you want to hold on to the struggles. You want to hold on. So if anyone is appearing to be out of the struggle or whatever it is, then it's not appealing to you anymore. Of course, you can relate to the struggle, but at some point, you have to kind of break out of that shell, still relate, but understand that things should get better.
Yeah.
I believe that in anything, not just in music, in any walk of life, you have to carry the hope that things will get better. And part of that process is not holding on to that baggage of, ndakashupika nini, ndakashupika. Yes, wakashupika, but look also at the brighter side.
Yeah.
And try to understand that, things will get better or things are actually getting better for you or for other people, and be happy for those that are in a better position.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Have you had any moment in your life and even in the public eye where something has gone in a way that you didn't like, or if people were trying to make it a controversial thing, or you were just going through a struggle and then you pivoted the way that you dealt with it, you pivoted the way that you thought, and you came through it better? Because on this podcast as well, one of the things that I like to do is to have real and honest conversations where we also share of things that maybe we've gone through or time when something was just super tough, and then we've come through it, because essentially you wouldn't have got to where you are if you didn't have a particular type of mindset.
Yeah.
Because I believe sometimes there are certain people who feel like, oh, this person who's on there, or you achieved that because your father is this, or Ningi, well, you're just a pretty face, you're just this, But no, that actually can be very far from the truth. Because what I've seen when I have conversations with people like yourself, I see the transformation in an individual. And then some of these people, they're like CEOs, they're big stars, they're whatever it is that they're doing. It always makes me think no, this person genuine, like you said earlier, there is a struggle that people have gone through. So have you had a moment like that, and how did you deal with it, and what was maybe one or two things that you learned from that experience?
Well, I have had a couple, but I think for me, what probably stands out, which is almost the whole struggle thing I was talking about, is the kind of a stereotype that a lot of us Zimbabweans have, is... I remember there was a time, I think maybe 2 years ago, someone posted on Twitter, posted my pictures. Do you know how people just like to start conversations about looks and things like that? And for me, yeah, great, but sometimes it takes away from what you are actually doing.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I remember that conversation was dragged so much online to a point where something that's actually not a negative comment or something that didn't start as a negative thing ends up affecting you negatively. And people say all sorts of things. And I think one of the things that stands out, which ties back into the whole struggle thing, people will label you and people say things like, masaladi, vanozvida, masaladi, this atiterere masaladi, all of that. And this don't salad. But it's like you look at someone in a picture and you think you know their life.
Yeah.
That's how people are. It's crazy. So because I chose to wear a dress and, do a nice hairdo and put on some makeup, that's what I like. I want to look presentable. Yeah. But no, you want a certain picture. You want me to look like my problems, basically. Right. You want the person to look like their problems for you to accept them, for you to say, I know they can represent us. But no, you don't know me. You know nothing about me. So I think, like you're saying, that was just one of the things, that happened where I was like, why do these people think they know anything about me? They don't know me, you know? But I think at the end of the day now, I'm just like, whatever. I mean, people will talk anyway. So
yeah.
It is what it is.
That's the lesson in that, because a lot of musicians in particular, you guys are in the public eye so much, and I'm always keen to get like the advice of how do you navigate that, because it's important for you as a person, for you as an artist, but also for your mental health.
True.
But you've then gone and done so many different types of bits of music, collaborated with some of our beloved, some of my faves. Takura, Takura, Nyasha David, The Voice. I like to call him that. Because, and Delroy as well. So how have you managing to collaborate with these different voices, these different talents, also impacted your creative process? And what's one of your favorite collab songs?
Why do you want to do this to me? Well, okay.
You can say all of them. Don't worry. I don't want to be unfair,
I was going to say all of them because, to be honest, my music is like my babies. I don't know if any parent can say, I love this child more than the other. Yeah, there'll be some that are probably more well-behaved. Yeah. But you can't love any of your children more than the other. So I love all of my collaborations, and all of them taught me something different. But maybe the overall lesson would be that you learn different creative processes. And I think for me, it's always so mind-boggling when I'm in the studio and we are playing probably a beat and everyone is writing. It's like so amazing how creativity is so different. Yeah. How we can be in the same room, listening to the same thing, but all of us come up with something totally different. Yeah. And nowadays, when I get into studio and if we're working on a collaboration, I used to be that person who was so stuck up with wanting my idea first, to lay my idea first. Now, I'd rather hear what everyone else is thinking, because it's then like, wow, how did you think of that? Like, where did that melody come from? Shout out to Delroy. He's such an amazing writer. Yes. And shout out to Nyasha David as well. A lot of people don't know that he's a very amazing songwriter, and he's quick with the pen as well. Really? Very quick. And his voice, obviously, like you said, Nyasha has got vocals for days. So yeah, I mean, I've learned different things from all these artists, and I'm still looking forward to more. And I think you can never put a full stop to learning. You will always learn new things if you're open to it. And I think that's what grows you as a person and as an artist. Just be open to learning. Yeah. And
you really strike me as that type of artist who has got so much more to do, to give, and to go. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you. Because listening to your music and then looking at you as a person, of course, just when it comes to what I see online, you give me this mindset of, this person, I feel like this is not the last that we've seen of them. And there's going to be so much more coming, 2026, 27, 2030, whatever. So I will give you the mic and ask you to tell me, where do you see yourself as an artist? in the next, I don't know, 5-10 years, or even tomorrow? Who knows?
People like this question so much. I don't know why. But for me, my journey is really limitless. I've told myself that everything I am doing now is probably just a foundation of greater things to come. And I've told myself I've given myself so much pressure over the years on like goals. Like I'll start my year and say at the end of the year I need to do A, B, C, D. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think sometimes we need to also give ourselves grace.
Yeah.
And I'm at a point where I'm doing everything I can when I can.
Yeah.
I do whatever I can do when I can do it. I will call up whoever I need to call up. If I need a collaboration with this person, I will do everything I can in that moment. And I think it will all work together for good.
Yeah.
I think in the next 5 years, I'll definitely not be in the same position I am now because I'm not where I was last year or 2 years ago or 3 or 4. So every year has its own beauties and things to celebrate. So I think, the sky is not even the limit.
Yeah.
So we're still pushing.
We're still pushing. We're still moving.
Yeah.
And also by the sounds of it, we're moving in a way that works for you, which leads me to ask about mental health. How do you take care of yourself as a person in the public eye?
First of all, I have recently learned not to read comments.
Yeah.
I've recently learned not to go through my comments, especially when it's a third party that has posted anything about me. Because when it's on my page, I can go through comments on my page because, most of the times the people that comment on my page are people that actually like me, that like my music.
Yeah.
And when there is criticism, normally it's constructive. They're like, no, Melyssa, but we like this better than that, and yada, yada, yada. And it's not harmful. But when it's a third party posting, it's a big blogger. And naturally, bloggers push scandal, they push noise. So when it's a third party, you just know that there's going to be 10,000 comments, 9.78 are negative. So why should I go through them?
Yeah.
I just don't, because I used to think that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't, essentially, because half those people that post all sorts of things, they really have nothing to do. But you have to protect yourself to a certain point because someone will touch on something you're insecure about.
Yeah.
Now you're going to think about it the whole day.
Yeah.
So yes, I told myself I need to protect my mental health. I just don't go through the comments, and that's it. So I just laugh. Sometimes I had to tell some of my friends, especially my sister, Norma. She's the one who takes screenshots of mean things and send to me and say, did you see this? So I ended up telling her, look, bro, I don't go through those comments, so don't send me.
Yeah.
I'm protecting my peace. I really don't care.
Yeah, protect your protect your peace. Protect your peace, y'all. I definitely like that. Definitely. I stand by that. And I did say to you guys, and I said to you, right? We have to look at the positives.
Yep.
Right?
We do.
So
We
what
do.
are some of the positives that you would say you're very happy about in the Zimbabwean music industry that you just want to continue on happening and being polished as well?
I think now there's generally a more receptive culture to the females. And I love that. I really love that for us. A couple of years back, it was, the industry is still more on the male dominated side, but I'm seeing a lot of females really come up, stand together and do really beautiful things. And for me, I would really like to see more of that because, we didn't have any of that even when we were growing up. We didn't have a lot of that to look at, to see female artists move together, do stuff together and just be more recognized. And have female artists topping charts and doing all of these things. It really makes my heart happy because it's progress. It means that the industry is growing and in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said to you earlier before we started rolling, this is my lived experience, okay? So don't at me. in the UK, Zimbabwean artists are coming and they're performing, and it's great.
Yeah.
But I don't see enough female artists on those lineups. So you promoters, you event organizers, you managers, or whatever it is, book the Zim sisters. Like literally, you know, it'll sell out even 5 times faster. I just feel like I need to see more of y'all. I love everything that you said, because I do agree with it. I've seen it, and I'm definitely behind it. But I want to see more and more of you guys coming to, you know, the Australias, the New Zealands. Yeah, South Africa's great, but South Africa's next door, guys. The UK, 100% UK, America. So, Melyssa, I am going to be looking out for when I see your name as the headliner.
Definitely.
Yeah. Come. But just make sure you pack a jacket and some socks, and 3 jackets and a jumper and a woolly hat and another jacket, because it is cold over there. So yeah, thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you.
Before we round up, we have to do something that I call pass the mic. It is when a previous guest leaves a question for the next guest. So you're going to be answering a question, and then afterwards you get to leave a question for our next person, right? So your question is from Nakai Matema, who is a well-known, celebrated female producer in the film industry. She's done a lot. She's done a lot, actually. So if you haven't watched that episode, soon as you finish this episode, go and watch the previous episode with Nakai, because she just speaks a lot about the Zimbabwean film industry in ways that we have never really heard about it, even pre-apartheid era, you know what I mean, or during apartheid rather. So yeah, go and watch that. So your question from Nakai is, what is it that you are going to contribute towards the narrative of Zimbabwe?
What is it that I'm going to contribute to the narrative of Zimbabwe? That's it's a huge question. Yeah. Carrying a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
I thought I'm not here as a firstborn today,
but
it looks like it's following me. The responsibility is following me. I think in the most simplest terms, excellency. Yeah. When we look at Zimbabwe from the world view, a lot is said. People have a lot of opinions. Oh, Zimbabwe this, oh, Zimbabwe that. But when it comes to myself, the narrative that I will push for Zim is excellency. And this is excellency in everything that I do, right? That's my responsibility that I will carry for the rest of us. When you see me out there in the world, and when I say I'm from Zimbabwe, I will not embarrass you.
Ooh! Guys.
That you can always count on, guys, from the music, from the way I carry myself, from the things I say, from what I wear. Trust me, I will not embarrass you. So yes, I will represent Zimbabwe as excellency.
I love that. I love that. Honestly, clock it. When you said earlier, you are me and I am you. That is literally it.
That's like us.
This is us. This is absolutely us. And I've pulled that in every aspect of my life, including with the podcast and stuff like that. If you're not going to do it well, don't do it until you know that you can. Although I also support the trying. Start until but always make sure that your goal is always to be excellent. So Melyssa, I really love that. Without getting too excited, I don't want to forget to ask you, what is your pass the mic question for the next guest?
Okay. I wasn't prepared for this. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Okay. What do you want to see change in this country or in the industry that you're in?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
That's
like
my
that.
question.
Then now I have a segment that I like to call It's Giving Zimbabwe. It's myself as a Zimbabwean and my guests like yourself who are also Zimbabwean, retaking that narrative and, telling people what it is in our own words. Yeah?
Nice. Okay.
So your question, It's Giving Zimbabwe question is, how has being Zimbabwean influenced your creativity, ambition, or work ethic?
Zimbabwe is such a free country.
Yeah.
first of all. And that freedom kind of sips into the creative process. I'm so free. And, as a child, I believe that you are who you are because of society and how you're socialized, basically. So I think that if you grow up too restricted or, not so free, you end up being very close-minded or boxed and scared.
Yeah.
But being Zimbabwean has taught me or has kind of shaped me to be just free.
Mm-hmm.
Like, guys, whenever I travel, that's when I kind of appreciate. You don't know what you have till, you visit other places and you feel like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I can't do this
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Oh, but at home we do this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, let me go back where I have all the freedom. So yes, definitely Zim's freedom has really kind of shaped my creativity into knowing that I can do whatever.
Yeah.
And I can just spread my wings. And
Oh, we love that.
Yeah,
we love
yeah.
that. And I'm sure myself and for those of you who are watching and listening, you are looking forward to the creativity that's going to come from Melyssa in the coming seasons. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. It has been a very interesting and insightful conversation. I hope you guys have learned more about her beyond music, especially the fact that she is a first daughter. And first daughters deserve to be loved. So send gifts.
send gifts, yes.
Send gifts.
Thank you so much for having me, Michelle.
Nice, thank you.
Appreciate it.
I know you already have fans who came here just to listen to you. But for the new, please just have a look at that camera and just tell them where they can find you on social media.
So you can find me at Melyssa ZW. That's on all social media platforms and even the music platforms. And it's MELYSSAZW. Yeah, the Melyssa is quite special, but that's literally how it's spelled on my ID. I don't know where my parents found
They wanted
that
to be
spelling.
unique. You don't know Zimbabweans when they're naming their children.
I'm a Melyssa, but very unique. MELYSSAZW, all platforms.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, guys, again for tuning in to this special episode of With Nyasha Michelle, recorded in H-Town, baby. That is not Houston, Texas, but it is Harare, Zimbabwe, my very own motherland. Make sure you tune in, subscribe, go to the socials whilst you're waiting for the next episode to happen. Okay, like I said, you can follow us at With Nyasha Michelle. Follow me at Nyasha Michelle _ and also don't forget, subscribe, share, like, and comment as well. Thank you so much, guys. I will see you next time. Bye.